What's up everyone, David here, welcome to another DC Talk episode. Today we have two interesting topics to talk about. Of course we're talking Shin Megami Tensei 5. I want to talk about why did SMT5 took so long before we got any information, and also why was it announced so soon. And of course we are going to talk as well about the worldwide release. Why is there a worldwide release? We obviously know that it's not in Atlus's habits to give us a worldwide release, so we are going to talk about that as well. Just before we jump right in, if you don't know already, there is an active giveaway on the channel for a free copy of Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne HD Remaster, PS4 or Switch, physical or digital. All you have to do to enter the giveaway is very simple. You subscribe to the channel and you click the link down in this description below to register and to get a chance to win. Follow on Twitter or Instagram is an additional chance to win for you. So now, on to today's video. First of all, I want to talk about why was SMT5 announced so soon. We gotta go all the way back to January 2017 during the first Nintendo Switch event, where we got to get some new information about the Switch and about its capabilities, and of course the games that would come to the next Nintendo home console. So it was a cool event, I watched it live, was super happy, and of course we got the announcement that Shin Megami Tensei 5 was currently in development for the Switch exclusively. So why was it announced in 2017 if we got a release window only in July 2020? So that's more than 3 years after the first announcement that we got any type of information. So why did they announce it so soon, you'll ask? Well, you see, I have a theory that when I discuss with friends of the Megaten community, I said that it's not an opinion that a lot of people have, and what I'm about to describe to you guys is not something that people talk about very often. So this is why I want to give you my opinion on the matter. Why was it announced so soon? Let's discuss that particular event where we got information about the Switch. What was announced at that event, okay? And just before I explain my point, we'll take a look at the RPG presence at that event, okay? So we got the announcement that Skyrim, a Western RPG developed by Bethesda, was coming to the Nintendo Switch. That was a big deal. The first time that we could play Skyrim on the go, so people were excited. So that was the first RPG that we got to see. Then Nintendo announced their brand new first-party RPG that was in the works, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And then we've got a big presence from Square Enix with Dragon Quest XI-S, which, if you don't remember, was the first Nintendo NX title that was announced back in the day. And they also show Project Octopath Traveler, that was, again, another Switch exclusive. Two great JRPGs from Square. And, of course, we had the announcement for SMT5 by Atlus. Why so many games? And Dragon Quest XI-S released in 2019, and then Octopath Traveler released in the summer of 2018, so all of those games were announced really soon. Only Xenoblade and Skyrim released on the first year. So why? This is what I was thinking. And you know, I have a theory for that, and this is, again, that will answer our question of the day, which is, why did SMT5 was announced so soon, okay? And I think that Nintendo wanted to prove to their fans that they would have JRPG and RPG support in general on the Switch. Why? Because the Wii U was lacking in that regards. It was really lacking. Like, there was not a bunch of RPGs on the Wii U. Like, there was Tokyo Mirage Sessions, and there was Xenoblade Chronicles X. I'm probably forgetting a bunch of them, but there was really not a lot of RPGs on the console. So I feel like after the failure of the Wii U, especially in the JRPG and RPG department, I really do feel like Nintendo wanted to grab those RPG fans right away on day one before the launch of their system. Hell, I know a bunch of people who bought a Switch for SMT5 without even knowing a date or a release window or anything. They just bought it. They're like, I'll have to buy it one day because SMT5 is coming at some point, so I need to buy it. So I feel like this was their strategy. I feel like Nintendo really pushed Atlus to announce that this game was in development and that it would be an exclusive for Switch, so that they would pick up those RPG fans. And of course, Octopath Traveler, Dragon Quest, Xenoblade, Skyrim are all other great titles that would get fans excited for upcoming RPGs. So this is my theory for why SMT5 was announced so soon. Now, if we look at the next question that I had for this discussion video was, why is there a worldwide release for SMT5? Like, if we look at Atlus's track record in the last few years, worldwide release is not in their dictionary. Like they don't release their game on the same day worldwide. Like, this is something that they don't do. Like, they release their game in Japan, and then they release it in the West, and then they release it in Europe. That's what's happening for most of their games. Let's look at a few titles, for example. The last title that we got in the West is Persona 5 Royal. The game was released in Japan in October 2020. No, October 2019, sorry. And then it was released in the West it took all the way to March 2020 before we got it in the West, so a bunch of months later. Now, if we look at another great title, Persona 5 Scramble the Phantom Strikers. Okay, so this game was released in February 2020 in Japan, and on the day of recording this video, in August 2020, we don't even have a release date for the game. So, as you can see, worldwide release, it's not in their catalog, let's say it like that. So they don't necessarily do it very often. So why? Why is there worldwide release for SMT5? Even if we look at SMT games, you know, SMT4 released in May 2013, and in Japan, of course, and it was released 2 months after, which is not too bad. 2 months after for localization in the West in July 2013. So that's pretty good. But then if we look at SMT4 Apocalypse, that took longer. The game released in February 2016, and it was released in September 2016 in the West. So kind of a big gap there, but still not too bad. So now, I also have a theory of why I think SMT5 will release worldwide. And the answer is simple. It's the same answer as our first question that we just answered. Why was SMT5 announced so soon? Nintendo wanted to. Why is there a worldwide release for SMT5? Nintendo wants to have a worldwide release. And I also think that Nintendo will publish SMT5 in the West. Here's why, okay? Nintendo has a tendency, at least on the Switch, of publishing major JRPGs in the West. They published Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I know that they're also on the development team, so that is like a 50-50 count. But they also published Octopath Traveler and Dragon Quest XI-S, which are both major titles that sold over 1 million copies. They both games were published by Nintendo in the West. SMT5 will be a major title, I'm sure of that. We talked about it in a previous video. I'll link it right here in the corner of the screen if you guys want to check it out. It's a video where I said SMT5 has potential, and I also had a discussion video where I said, is there a possibility that SMT5 outsells Persona 5? Is there a possibility? I feel like this game has a lot of chances to succeed, and I'm confident that Nintendo will be the publisher behind the SMT5, because if we look at what we know from SMT5 and the development cycle and all of that, first HD mainline SMT game, I think that this is a game that aims to be on a very major scale, that it was not for previous installments in the series. So I really feel like Nintendo will publish the game, and I'll go even deeper and I'll say that I think Nintendo is going to handle the marketing for this game. And that would be a good thing as well. So, because when Nintendo decides to push one of their games for the game to sell, we just have to look at the recent release of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. They marketed the hell out of this game. They did the same thing for Tokyo Mirage Sessions. Even if it flopped, the marketing campaign was really good in my opinion. And I really do feel like they could do something interesting again with SMT5 if they were the one to do the marketing for this game. I was discussing with Katana Riku the other day, and we were theorizing on, is there a possibility that we get an SMT5 Direct at some point, just like what we got for Xenoblade Chronicles 2? I don't know how likely that is, since this is a third-party game, but even for small Directs, there's always a bunch of eyes on a Direct. So if they were to do an SMT5 Direct, which again, I don't know how likely that is, but there would be a bunch of eyes on the Direct, and that would put a bunch of eyes on this particular title. So again, I'm sure that it will succeed, and we answered both questions today. SMT5 was announced so soon, in my opinion, because Nintendo wanted to prove their fans that they would have that RPG presence on their new console, and the worldwide release, I think, is a demand from Nintendo, and they're working with Atlus for the publishing of the game in the West, so they definitely want a worldwide release for that particular game. But those are both my opinions, the answers to those questions. If you guys have any ideas that are not the same as mine, let me know. If you agree with me as well, let me know down in the comment sections below. Again, I always read all the comments. I don't necessarily answer to all the comments because there are always a bunch of them, but I'm trying to do my best. But I am definitely reading you guys' comments. It's always super interesting, and I'm curious to hear you guys' thoughts. As always, if you want to stay up to date on anything Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, or Atlus, please consider subscribing to the channel, and if you like the video, give me your thumbs up. That really helps to support the channel as well. I hope you guys liked the video, and we'll see you again in another one.